Hello and welcome. You're watching Newsx and I'm Vaishali Kohli. An Indian content creator, Sachin Awasthi, shared a troubling experience on Instagram, revealing that he and his wife were detained for 38 hours in South Korea and later faced further restrictions while in transit through China. Awasthi claimed they were denied entry upon arrival in South Korea's Jeju Island and were taken into a detention center without any explanation. He described the conditions as grim, with no access to sunlight or the outside world, and the couple was given jail-like food. Awasthi also mentioned that they were pressured to purchase an expensive return ticket, which cost almost 10 times the normal price. The ordeal continued as they transited through China, where they faced more waiting, restricted communication and surveillance, including police monitoring their restroom use. Awasthi stressed that while immigration authorities have the right to make decisions, he felt they were treated like criminals, and his emotional toll from the experience was significant. Sachin Awasthi himself is joining me. He's, of course, the YouTuber who was detained in South Korea. Sachin, welcome to Newsx. And I can totally imagine your ordeal. This must have been a very, very scary experience. We'd like to hear it from you.
So thanks for having me. I've already detailed everything in my video, but I would like to give you a short summary of what happened. So we boarded a flight from Bangkok where they asked us to show a lot of cash in dollars, which we showed them. And then we had a short layover at Shanghai, like 1 or 1.5 hour layover. Then again, there was questioning and they asked us to show the cash again. And then we reached Jeju Island, where as soon as they saw our passports, they asked somebody to take us to the waiting room, me and my wife both, and where they asked us to fill a form which they even never looked at. And they took our interview, in which they did not ask any specific questions, just one or two very random questions, and we answered them. And then they abruptly ended the interview, and she had a paper with her already, in which it was already stamped entry denied. She did not stamp it in front of me, and so they denied entry. And that was not the worst part. The worst part was when they took us to the detention center by manipulating. They did not tell us that they are taking us there. They manipulated us on the way there. And after that, there was very bad treatment in the detention center. There was no outside view, outside sunlight. There was nothing. It was completely packed. There was no proper glasses to drink water, no proper food. And the worst part was the uncertainty. No immigration officer came to us to tell us that what's going to happen next. Only the Juneyao airline staff came to us, and he just manipulated and blackmailed us to buy an expensive return ticket, which we did. Even after that, they did not give us certainty that you will leave tomorrow. But finally, when we left, there was a short layover in Shanghai again, because there's no direct flight from Jeju to Bangkok. So I don't think there was a need of any immigration involvement in Shanghai. But again, they did not give us our passport. One airline staff walked with us to the immigration counters. I don't know what they talked between them. The Chinese immigration officers, they took us to the waiting room, which was a very small room, and only 3 chairs were there. So we sat there, and they asked us not to move, not to use our phones, not to drink water which we had, not to eat food which we had. And this kept on for 8 hours. We had to, my wife and me both, whenever we had to use the washroom, there was a policeman which came with us wearing a body cam, and they did not even let us close the door. They asked us to keep the door open and use the washroom. So that was very humiliating. And finally we came back, and it was very humiliating and very bad experience for us.
You know, Sachin, I'm very glad that you've highlighted this and brought this out. It's very important to speak out when something like this happens. Now, my question to you is that while all of this was happening, I'm sure you were trying to speak with them and ask them what was happening, why they're doing this. What did they say then?
Basically, they did not answer any of our questions. When we were giving the interview to the immigration officer, she abruptly ended the interview, and obviously we can't argue there. We know we abided by the rules. I just asked her, can you please ask us some real questions? See your booking, see your return ticket, see your cash, or travel insurance, everything, account statement, anything. But our only contact with the immigration officer was when the interview was taken. After that, no immigration officer contacted us. Only the airline staff came to us, which were obviously after their profit of like blackmailing us to buy a expensive return ticket.
All right. So they have not given you any reason, you're saying specifically. Now, can you describe the other conditions inside the detention facility? Were there more people with you there?
Yeah, first I'll answer your first question. They gave us a reason. They said that they gave us a form. It was a pre-written form. They just filled out our name, and they tick a box which said the purpose of stay not clear. Other than that, they did not give us any explanation or any reason why they did not understood our purpose of stay. And the condition of the detention center was very bad. There were a lot of people in there, mostly Indians, and they were Indonesians, Chinese. As far as I know, there was one or two African guys also. And the condition was very bad. There was a literally 2 centimeter thick sheet in which they asked us to sleep. The pillow was I don't know what material was it made of. It was a brick-like pillow. I don't know why they gave it in the first place. And the washrooms were dirty, and it is a complete jail-like feeling inside that center. There's no sunlight. If you have to drink water, they are like this small paper pouches in which you have to open it and fill the water bottle and drink it immediately, otherwise the paper will like melt. So the worst conditions I have ever experienced.
Sachin, you were saying there were more Indians there who were also detained. Did you happen to speak to any one of them?
Yes, I speak to one or two of them. Some said that same reason was given to them, purpose of stay not clear. Some said that they said that you have come with your friends and not your family, so that's why we are rejecting you. Some said they are told that they come with like only their wife, not their children, and that's why we have rejected you, and many other random reasons. No specific reason to like anyone, including the Indians and the Chinese and the Indonesians. Nobody was given a clear reason.
Sachin, were you allowed to contact the Indian embassy or your family at any point in time? Did you mention that you want to speak to somebody from the Indian embassy there?
Our phones were not taken in Jeju Island. We were allowed to use our phones. There was a board in which the immigration embassy numbers of all the embassies were written. So I tried to contact the Indian embassy after taking the number from there. But first time it did not like got picked up, and second time there was some automated voice in Korea. I did not understand what it said, and our phones were there with us in South Korea. But when we reached China, they strictly asked us to not use our phones. They were not even allowing us to put our hand in the pocket in which our phone was. My phone was ringing. My family was calling. I just asked them, can I just return a text to my father like we are safe? They did not allow us even that. China. In Korea, we had our phones and we could contact people. Yeah.
Sachin, are you considering taking this matter up through any diplomatic or legal channels now that you're back?
Yes, I am thinking of taking it to to the authorities, Indian authorities. I am planning to like put a formal complaint.
Sachin, was any of these people armed? Did they have guns on them?
What the people which
Yes,
were
yes. In the
inside?
detention center, was anybody armed? All these people who had put you in the detention center? All right, there seems to be an audio problem. I can't hear you, but let me. Sachin, can you say something? I lost your voice in the middle. Let me just see if
Yeah.
I can hear
Can
you.
you?
Yes, now I can hear you, of course.
Yeah.
Now, Sachin,
No.
tell me about. Yes, please go on.
And nobody was armed. Nobody was armed.
Okay. Now, Sachin, other than this, I want to ask you, of course, that now you also were in China. What was the transit experience there like?
It was worse than Korea. It was worse than Korea because at least in Jeju we were allowed to use our phones. We were allowed to have movement. But in China they told us to sit in that chair and don't even move and don't even touch our phones, don't even touch the water bottle we had, and don't even touch the food we had. So it was way worse than Jeju Island, the China experience.
And Sachin, through all of this at the detention center, your wife and you were together, right? There was no separation even for a minute.
No, but in Jeju Island, when we had to sleep, then there were two separate halls, one for the male, one for the females. Only that was the separation part. Other than that, we were sitting together in a smoking room, which was in the middle. And in China, they kept us together in the three chairs which were put there. We sat on the two chairs and we were together. Yeah.
Now, Sachin, I want you to give out a message for any Indian travelers who are planning a trip abroad to this country. What would you like to say?
To Jeju Island,
Yes.
I would say tread carefully and be prepared for the worst. And I hope this, what happened to me, does not happen to you. That's it. Best of luck.
Ideally, Sachin, after your experience, I doubt if anybody would want to go there. And I'm very thankful. We're all thankful that you've brought this out, because this is very important to speak up and let people know. This is absolutely going to warn people from going there, of course. Now, if there's we are hoping, Sachin, that whatever you do, there is a response from South Korea and China. Do really respond. I also want to ask you something else, Sachin. At the detention center where you were seeing Africans, where you were seeing Indians, was there any kind of physical, any kind of physical torture inflicted on them, any kind, or were they all right?
No, no physical torture was there. No, nobody was verbally disrespecting anybody, but they actually constructed a condition in which you will automatically be humiliated and mentally drained. At 6 a.m. in the morning, they came with that juice and that extremely sweet bun, and they immediately turned on all the lights and clapping really hard and shouting in their language like get up, get up, get up, get up, like just like in a jail. Like if you have put us in a detention center, what do you have a problem if people kept sleeping for few more hours? What is this way to waking people up? Like, so they were trying to mentally give you a sabak that you will never do this again in your life, but there was no physical torture.
Absolutely, Sachin, you're right. This behavior that has been meted out should be called out. And my final question to you is that tell us about, of course, this is a lot of stress, a lot of mental torture. Tell us about how you feel now and the kind of stress you felt then.
We were very stressed at that time. This is the time of New Year's for December end and the January start. But we almost were traumatized for a week or two. We were not even laughing, and we were very much stressed. We were randomly crying, and after like 1 or 2 weeks, we kept ourselves together and we tried to move on. And I was mentally struggling to decide like whether should I make this video or not, whether should I tell everyone or not. But finally I decided like I should tell people, and in the end it's their decision what they make out of it.
All right, Sachin, with that, I want to thank you once again for speaking about this and bringing this out. A lot of people must know what happened to you. Thank you so much for your time on Newsx.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I want to thanks to you and your channel also. I believe you were the first one who picked up this story, so I thanks to you and your channel especially also. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sachin.